Hey YouTube, welcome back to UniXTCG, and today we're coming at you with another gameplay video. This time it is Red Zoro from set 1 versus Kid from the starter deck. It's going to be pretty cool, at least I think so. I apologize if there's glare at any time. There is literally, I need to get like an umbrella in order to stop the glare. Like I need to get some more equipment for my setup. And then there's gonna be some shaking that I try to take out of the video, and that's just because the other two people at the table were just bumping and just like tapping, like, you know, like anxious ankle bouncing. So I'm gonna see if I can steady that, and in the future I'm gonna try to make sure that the table I'm on doesn't have anybody else on it to avoid such shaking. So bear with me, but I'm gonna jump in with the commentary. If you like the content, think about hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, notification button, commenting. That way the video trends and we build the community that is this channel. The bigger it gets, the more things I'm gonna be able to do, and the more comfortably I'll have time to create content, because creating content will be the only thing I'll need to do to support myself. So, hey, look, pluses. And past that, I just wanna say, thanks to everybody for coming out for the giveaways. And I think next month, it's not even I think, I know, next month I will be giving away 2 Film Purple starter decks. So get ready for that. As soon as they come out and I pick them up, I'll post up for the giveaways, so you guys will have another chance to win something else. That being said, let's jump into the match. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, so we're getting started off. You've got Kid versus Zoro. I roll a 7. He rolls a 7. I roll another 7. I had to check that. He gets 7. Normally I just keep the die roll out of this, but this is actually really funny because we were just going off. He got a 9. He got an 8. So, epic die roll. Potentially more epic than the game now. It was just really wild. So, looking at that first hand, I can see my own. I got Kid, a Law, a Beige, a Killer, and a Raizo. And while that hand has a lot of defense plus my end game, it doesn't really have a way to dig me into other pieces, so I had to throw it back. I'm not saying you always go for Bonnie, but that hand, it's like if he breaks through those blockers, I'm just stuck with whatever I draw. So we definitely, and there was no way to tap down his early cards. That was a problem too. If there was like a Nekamamushi instead of that Raizo, we might have even kept that hand. His deck was thickly triple sleeved. That is why you will see a lot of the glare as well here, but I try to do my best, and like I said, we'll get the proper equipment soon enough to stop that. So on a Kiku, a Killer, double Bonnie, and an Apu. And I mean, of course, I can't re-throw this back, but I think this is more than enough, because the only card I really fear is Robin. And I can see he opened up with the Robin and the Jet Pistol, so that's something. Had to just make sure I could readjust the camera, make sure it was all good, make sure the view was good. Set up the dice just in case it was hard to see life. But no, this quality is pretty good. You should be able to see life. And then my die pretty much helps in my sleeves. So, he starts off with 1 Dawn, but he does not have a 1 Dawn play, so he passes. This is one of the reasons why I like making Red go first. 1 less card and potentially no momentum on their turn 1. So, I get 2, and I end up deploying both Bonnies, because the only thing that checks me is seeing a single Robin. And once we play out both Bonnies, we can attempt to put up a board that we can start plussing off of. So he's going to play all 3 to show me the card that I least want to see, which is the Robin. He's going to swing. I don't have a Nekamamushi or Izo in him, so I need to be able to see this card. So I take it. Drawing for turn. For this turn to be successful, it needs to have a Nekamamushi ideally, or an Izo not ideally. And I tap 3 for the Izo. So we're going to tap the Robin down and then swing on Robin for 6k, meaning that he needs to come out of his hand with either 3 cards if he has 1Ks or a single 2K. In early game, that's a kind of a crapshoot, so he ended up having to lose the Robin. Going up to 5 Dawn actually. He's going to be able to play a Nami, look at the top 5. Conferring to his hand to make sure he makes the best play. It looks like he has another Nami in hand. He takes a Sanji, Torpedo Sanji, meant to come in and kill. Well, come in and get a swing off and then just die, so. Takes that to hand. And he actually has enough to deploy it. Wait, no, he doesn't. I'm so sorry. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. So he has 5. So he has enough to deploy it, but the question is whether that's the correct move. He's going to play Torpedo Sanji out, and he will give it haste. Now, he's starting to go kind of wide because I believe he wants to put me down at a lower life total before I can stabilize. So I do take that 6, and then he's going to swing for 5, which that one is a little bit of a miss sequence. Because I think the leader should have swung first, and then you should have just played out the Sanji. But I have way too many Bonnies, so I end up discarding a Bonnie on the counter and take it. Always make sure you kind of go up, because if you hit them with 6 and they could have taken it, you might have given them the piece that they could block the 5 with. So swing with 5, see what they do. Swing with 6, because if they couldn't block 5, they're not blocking 6. So I'm going to go in for the Torpedo Sanji, swinging 5k on 4k. Again, checking him for that 2k, and it doesn't happen. I'm going to use 1 Bonnie because I felt like, I guess off my draws, I had the ability to protect it. We found the kid, and we don't have him in hand already, so we're going to take him, make sure we have that in game, and then we are going to play a blocker. Oh, my bad. Hold up. Let me commentate and stop trying to remember what we're going on to. But this looks like an Okiku for pressure later, and then a blocker here. Now this is a little bit of a misplay on my part. I did not have the foresight because I swung before I used Bonnie. I did not have the foresight to know what exactly I was going to play. So making sure that you make sure you sequence correctly, because that could have been 1 extra Dawn on Sanji in case he did have the resource to put down on it. But the reason why I only use 1 Bonnie is because I feel like I can only protect 1 Bonnie. Guess how many cards I have in hand? It is a straight up 4. Not a terrible amount of cards, but the board is starting to get a little scary for him. He's having a little trouble figuring out the momentum. Okiku will start picking apart his board, and we have played against each other enough times for him to know that if Okiku lives, I'm going to take control of this game very quickly. He will never be able to amass a board presence or keep anything up too big. So he's starting to really sweat on what to do with this Okiku. I am assuming right now the Gum Gum Jet Pistol is burning a hole in his hand because he wants to be able to save it for something like Okiku Jet Pistol on a Kid, but Okiku is going to put in work for the rest of the game, and he knows I'll be able to protect it. So he Jet Pistols the Okiku right now. He's still got a couple turns before Kid comes. So he plays out the Chopper. And once again, I'm sorry for the glare, but I'm hoping the commentary helps enough. So he plays out Chopper, and he ends up swinging Nami into Bonnie. We're actually just going to combo out of that. And then he's going to swing there, and I'm going to block because unless he has a rush, that's his last. Now he kept the 2 open, which lets me know immediately that we're about to get Red Hawked. Because that could have just been on Zoro, and that Nami would have been too big to block. So because we have Red Hawk about to go off, I am going to elect to play Bonnie to make sure I can get the most value out of it before it gets killed, getting a blocker. Then I'm going to use the other Bonnie. Because in my mind, the Red Hawk signaling is going to mean one of those Bonnies has got to go, and I don't want him getting value out of it. But also, picking up 2 blockers is going to ensure that I can protect whatever Bonnie's left over. Now we're going to swing over there. And I'm going to get Red Hawked here. He wants to protect the swinger, but most of all, he wants to get rid of my swingers. Now, this one is a little weird to me. I think he prioritized me having enough swingers to press him because I still had Dawn up. I'm kind of weird about it. He still has full life. I think that one of the Bonnies was the play. Maybe he believes he'll get rid of both of them next turn, but I just searched 2 blockers. So I'm not quite sure if that was the play, because the Izo, yes, I was planning on bouncing it back to hand when I got the chance. And yeah, if he blocked me with Chopper, then Izo was going to get the Nami anyway. But I definitely think Bonnie was one of the more correct choices. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. So we're going to play out Killer. And then after playing out Killer, still a healthy 4 Dawn. beige out. At this point, we kill her, the Nami, to keep forward momentum. Wanted to save that for Zoro, but that Nami will be able to pressure my Bonnies past my blockers. If he has like a rush and his leader and he just swings that Nami, he's going to take out a Bonnie. And I want to be able to keep my forward momentum. He's starting to get starved on hand right now. I believe he only has 3 cards left. Three or 4. Alright, donning up Zoro. I'm sorry, he played a 3-drop. That might be another Robin. But now he's going to swing for 6. At a Bonnie. And I'm just going to block that real quick since that looks to be like, unless he plays a rusher, he's not swinging again. Oh, that's Zoro. Okay, cool. So I just let that go. I'm getting close to my kid turn, so I didn't want to drop all of my blockers. We're going to draw. I saw Nekamamushi. That's great for me. And we definitely need to get rid of the Zoro. So we're going to Bonnie just to see our chances. I think we pick up a lot here. But like I said, let me just pay attention to what I pick up and not. Yep. So picking up the Law here is going to not only add a blocker, but also allow us to potentially reuse the Bonnie or reuse the Killer. So we've got choices to make, options. And that's actually the one thing I like about the kid deck the most, options. Alright, so we're deploying the Law right now, bouncing the Bonnie, playing the Nekamamushi, and tapping the Chopper. Swinging in on Zoro. But he has Open Dawn, and he actually plays another Red Hawk, getting rid of my blocker this time. That is an actual slowdown on momentum. And so we're going to at least get rid of the Chopper here. So right now the choice pretty much is whether we deploy the Bonnie for next turn or the beige. And we choose the Bonnie because I feel like we have enough forward momentum. But we are still thinking, like, this is the hardest part. And, you know, we have played a bunch of times, so we're just trying to think. So, yeah, I've already played the card down. I'm not going to take that back. So, yeah, that is the Bonnie because we don't believe that we're dying next turn. And his only real target to swing on is the Killer if it's not my face. And we need to cruise into our stabilization. And by cruise, I mean rockily stabilized because we're at, like, 0 life right now. Well, we're at 3 life right now, and we're starting to get a little low. I'm trying to deny him cards from his life, and that strategy works against the low to the ground Zoros, but against the more mid-range ones, or mid-range Luffys, it can definitely kind of backfire, so you kind of have to know your matchup and see the cards and kind of read the room. He has how many cards I have in hand? I think it's 2 or 3. So he's going to don up his leader again and swing. Oh, it's 4. That was deceptive. I'm looking at this, and he's swinging at leader. I'm just going to take it. I need my hand to be a little bit thicker. And we're about to set into our thing. I just got a 3rd Scratchman of Pooh off of life. And he has deployed a Luffy. Now, I am kind of feeling weird. I do feel like the sequencing on playing cards before you swing needs to be worked on a little bit, and this is maybe something I can talk to him about. Playing the Luffy before you, yeah, there's a couple of things that are odd for me. But now he's swinging for unblockable 8, no, unblockable 9, and I just took it. There's no way I'm not taking it. Now we've got another Zoro coming in for 6. And that should be an easy snap. Oh, he wanted to dawn it up, so now it's 7. Now it's not so easy. Now we gotta do a little bit of math. And we decided to take it. Now he's playing a 3rd. That's another Nika Robin. That actually is a Nika Robin. So we're going to untap. We're at 0 life, and this is where it starts to get very, very sketch. At this very moment in time, I do not believe that I can afford to play my Kid at this point. It'll be my entire turn to play Kid, and so I have to start going on some of his cards. So we're going to swing it on the Luffy, and he only has 1 card in hand, and he's tapped out. So swinging at Luffy for 8 ensures that even if he has a 2K, that's all he can drop. Next, we're going to search for Bonnie, now that we know that Luffy's off the board. And I see there's both an 8-drop and a 7-drop, both cards that I cannot play and don't have counter value, so we will not be choosing those. So we get the X-Drake instead, because even though he's not really that usable right now, like he would bottom out the rest of my turn, X-Drake at least, at the very minimum, is going to be a 1K counter. So picking up X-Drake. Another. Okay, so we got 2 being played. Actually, all 5 being played. Okay, so let's look at another Law deploying. Bouncing back Killer to play Killer and blowing up the Zoro. We have to do our absolute best right now to make sure that we do not get blown out. And then we are just going to let Killer fall off so that we can play Beige, because I believe that I valued the Nekomamushi being able to tap things more than I valued Killer being able to kill things that already swung. And in case we get another long, we can bounce back. So he opens up to 2 cards in hand, and this is going to get a little weird. So he's going to Jet Pistol 1 to Laws. That is a little alarming, because now I'm down to 2 blockers, and he has a Robin out. So he's going to go in for 7. I think this is the biggest misplay I made the entire game, so just watch out for this. 3 Dawn left, and he's trying to figure out where to distribute it. So he pops my Beige, and at this point, I believe, let me actually make sure I get to the right point, because I have 2 Scratchmans and a Beppo, and he's only swinging at me for a certain amount, so I'm going to go and, yeah, I just combo for 7K since he's at 6K. And then he piles all that on Zoro and swings. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he has 5 more. So he's swinging for 11. Now at this point, yeah. So the issue here is I think I should have just comboed out on my leader. Unless he swung for Bonnie. He might have swung for Bonnie. I dropped 3 Scratch Mapoos to get to 11 over his 10, and I really bottomed out my hand here. Whether that's a misplay or not, I'm trying to kind of re-go over that. If he swung on, I believe he did swing on the Bonnie. It's a little harder to tell, and so that's maybe why I used the law instead of just countering out of the 7 or of the 6 on my leader. Yeah, because I could have just put 2 down and then gone up and then countered a little less. But either way, I think I actually still lose a bunch of cards in hand. Never mind. I apologize. I lose the same amount of cards in hand regardless of how the swing goes, if I'm not mistaken. But this turn we set up Kid, and then we play the killer blocker. And now we have double blocker Kid to his not established board. This is almost GG no re for most red decks. His best thing he can do would be to Diablo Jambe and then swing for 8, so 13k, and even that is potentially able to be outdone. Not with my 2 cards in hand, no, but that can potentially be outdone. So when he took the 2 Dawn, I was like, oh no, it's Diablo. It's Diablo time. It was a very hard turn for him, despite him having 2 cards in hand. This is just bad. This is why we don't really give life to this is why we don't give life to the red player early on, because when we hit this stabilization turn, we want as few resources in that as possible. So we're just gonna snap block the 8 he just sent at me. 2 of them for the BB out, and he's gonna pass. 3 up. This man's been red hawking me every other turn, and so I'm like, I see. But we've just untapped with Kid, and that makes us the most dangerous we can ever be in our deck. We're going to start off by using Bonnie to see exactly what we can get. And I see a Beige, a Momonosuke, a Paradise Waterfall, a 7-drop Kid, and that might be another Bonnie. Right now, we need a thick blocker, but we also need to press the attack, so we're going to opt for this. And frankly, I don't think he can really take the... if he has Gum Gum Jet Pistol and like Otama, he's got to choose one or the other, but he's not getting through my board that turn. He's not playing Luffy and dawning him that same turn, so we're a little bit in the clear for certain things. So we're going to swing and actually poke him. I also realize my hand is very small, and this is what I try to tell people in my coaching sessions. You have to realize when you have to flip the switch to be able to kill somebody, when you can't just stall or turtle. And this was that turn. I am at a point where my hand is not strong enough to do what I needed to do. I can't really protect my turn that much, so I'm setting up for the kill turn. We gave him 1 life just to check the strength of his hand with a leader, and then we actually used Kid 8-drop to play Okiku to make sure we can tap down whatever he plays next turn, and then we played 7-drop Kid, leaving 1 open, which leads me to believe that I have a Paradise Waterfall in hand right now. But yeah, what we have now done is present a board that has him on a 2-turn clock maximum if he can't disrupt it. And now I've given him 1 card in life, bringing him up to I think 3 cards in hand, 2 or 3 cards in hand, and he's actually drawn up. Sorry, there's so many notifications from YouTube and Twitch and the emails. I always be making sure I'm trying to keep up. Sorry guys. I really try to respond as much as I can. Sometimes it doesn't work out. So now he's taking about half his Dawn to put it under his leader. So he has 5 Dawn underneath Zoro, and he's swinging at my Kid. This is at a point where I'd have to give up my entire hand. So I'm just going to give up my entire hand anyway, but on a different thing and make 2 blocks out of it. So putting Kid at 11 and untapping him. Now he's got 5 Dawn, 3 cards in hand. The VV could potentially go up higher, but this is where he's in a bind. Any resource you turn sideways at this point is immediately going to get clapped the next turn. So he's trying to think about how he stays unclapped. So he's played it looks like a chopper. No, 1, 2, 3. Okay, he tapped. I'm so sorry. The glare is preventing me from seeing it. Like I said, I'm gonna get a little camera umbrella soon enough. Increase the ability of the setup. So we're tapping immediately for the Bonnie search. We're starting to actually stabilize, and now this turn cannot be any deadlier. We've got 2 kids out. We're going to get a killer blocker that we don't necessarily need right now. So I see he's got a VV. We're going to now swing on his leader for 6K. And we're going to tap. Oh, that's a Brook. Okay, that's a Brook. I see now. I thought he only tapped 1, but he tapped 4. That makes sense. So swinging on for 6 and then hitting a Brook, that lets me know all I need to know about his hand. His hand is fairly weak. So now what we're going to do is we're checking our hand just to make sure everything sits right. We're swinging 8 at Brook, just to get it out of the way. Again, we're testing his hand with 3 cards in hand, or now 4 cards in hand. No, it's still 3. We should be good. So now we're going to walk in his life a little bit because we want to put him out 1. Pretty sure there's nothing in the game he can do right now that's going to kill me. And so we need to walk him down to 1 so that we can alpha him next turn with Kid. $9K coming in. And then at this point, we've decided that we no longer need the Bonnie. What we need to do is make sure that there is no possible way he can stop what's going to happen. So we're looking at this, and we are going to get rid of the Bonnie to play a killer. And then we're going to put a Dawn under to make sure we get another draw. So at this point, we now have 3 blockers plus a Kid and an Okiku, and he kind of sees the writing on the wall. Without a Diablo Jambe to push directly through at the Kid, nor actually being able to swing in with a Luffy that's already on the board, it's kind of whack. I see there's a Shanks in his hand, but I don't think he can actually play the Shanks. It's just kind of stuck. So he has 5 cards in hand right now, and it's just impossible. 5 or 6 cards, and it's impossible for him to do anything. This is the power of the Kid setup versus Red. So now we're sitting here wondering what's going on. And let's see. So right now we're actually trying to make sure that we can get this done. Like I said, trying to make sure I'm keeping track of everything on the social media side of this. He's gonna play Okiku, and he's gonna -2 on Kid. He's gonna play Okiku again, he's gonna -2 on there. I see what he's doing, but he wants to soften up all of my blockers. Then he's going to play a Nami and use the Dawn to put under Zoro. He's definitely trying to soften up the blockers to make sure that he can swing through them and then maybe get a chance to swing at Kid. But the writing's on the wall. He needs a haster, and he actually just doesn't need any haster. He needs he would need a Zoro on top of this turn with the Diablo Jambe to even come close. And that's just the rough part about this. He is at 1 life, and that is Kid's Joy Town. Like, if you don't have a chopper, or if you don't have a blocker, you're not getting to this. So he's going to swing for 6K, and I'm just going to let this go, draw a card, and let him die. And that's just pretty much all he needs to see. He doesn't have the ability to push through his board, and I don't think that's going to change. So now he still has 2 blockers, a Law and a Kid, and he still needs to swing through the actual Kid. So this is pretty much that. He has 4 Dawn open, and he has a Zoro, and he's going to end up swinging with the Zoro for 6K at Kid, and that's just going to allow me to either counter with that's going to allow me to counter. Actually, no, that's 7. Sorry. So that's going to allow me to block by putting 2 counters out, and that actually is just like really choice. So that's pretty cool. Now, what's going to happen here is He's now going to dawn up this Zoro and swing for 7. And we just let it, or 6. You know, that's 7. And we just let it go. We just block with Law and let it go. And then he ends his turn, I draw, and he has no blockers, which means there's nothing in the game that can stop him or stop me from hitting him with Alpha. So we set our Dawn back up, and we just put 2 Dawn on Okiku to swing for 7. Yeah, I think we just, because we could just swing with a Kid, but you don't want to ever get too greedy and not make the right plays. So we're just going to start off by making them. Literally just launch the Okiku for 7. The Okiku is going to swing, and we're just going to tap one of his, we're going to tap his Nami. Swing with Okiku for 7. He has to take it, which again shows me that his hand has a lot of uncounterable. 0 counter cost. Then we're going to swing for 8. And that's the game. He has Brook, Shanks, and Sanji. We have the awkward hand bump, handshake, high five. I'm laughing because I'm like, that's going to be on camera. And that is the match. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is a bit of a long one. It took most of the round because I stabilized late in the game. But just, yeah, Zoro versus Green. But like I said, just want to keep providing content for you guys. I will get better equipment so you guys don't get that glare. I'm hoping I could have walked you through as best I can, and I will see you guys in the next One Piece video. Thank you, and bye.